Yo, what up, folks? What's going on? It's the pastor. Let me get this little sound started right quick. Y'all don't know nothing about that. That do-do-do. Do-do-do. That's old school, can you understand? Curtis Mayfield and the Impressions. It's called This Is My Country. Good evening, everybody. The pastor in the house. Gonna get a couple of people tagged up right quick while the music is playing. Okay. Which is really some good stuff. Yeah, let me see what I can do getting some folks tagged up right quick. This is my country. It's the kind of music I grew up on. And I ain't getting ready to let nobody tell me this ain't my country. This is my country. For sure, for sure. Y'all share this out. Too many have died in protecting my pride for me to go second class. Come on, somebody. Shall we perish unjust or unequal as a nation? I might let that roll twice. Especially since my invite button just flipped on me. Oops, sorry, Rajan. Do we perish unjust or live equal as a nation? This is my country. We better go it on with that foolishness for sure. And I'm here to let them know this is my country. Paid 300 years ago for slave driving sweat and welts on our back. I think while I'm trying to get these tagged up again, I'm gonna hit that off one more time. If I can.
This is what it's like wearing regular shoes. No all-around support. And this is what
and I don't even know this dude. But he'll be all right. Skip him right quick. Oh, they got another one coming up. I'm gonna let that go too. Okay, while I do this. Y'all bear with me. It's not gonna be a long night. This song is called If You Had a Choice of Colors, which one would you choose, my brothers? If there was no day or night, which would you prefer to be right? Okay, getting these folks tagged up here. Uh-oh. I know I just tagged somebody that shouldn't have. So you said let it play again, huh? For sure, for sure. Good evening, what's going on? Hey, Brooke, what's happening? Shakim, how you doing? All right. I'll reserve that for another conversation, for sure. I think you already know what I think about Tommy Newell and his presentation. You know, I really do. Sue, man, I miss you and Poppy and the family for sure. We got to get past this COVID. See, this is the Impressions too. This is Curtis Mayfield and Impressions too. The other one was. This is the kind of music I grew up on. If you had a choice of colors, which one would you choose, my brothers? Listen what they say. Now, some of us would rather cuss and make a fuss than to bring about a little trust. But we shall overcome, I'll believe, someday, if you'll only listen. If you'll only listen. How long have you hated your white teachers? Who told you to love your black preachers? Can you respect your brother's woman friends and share with black folks not of kin? See, this is some real talk here. Lisa, what's going on? How you doing? All righty? All righty? Jackie, what's happening? Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you for allowing me to stand today. Yeah, for sure. What's up, Goody? All the way from the Shy? Yes, much love back to everybody at home. That's for sure. That's right. If you had a choice of colors, which one would you choose? I done seen a whole lot of people that, you know, that live in operation against their color. They're really enemies to their own skin. And I don't understand that. I don't understand that. I had one of my best friends when I was in the Navy here. His kids and our son grew up together. Now they all in their mid-30s right now, you know, but I played this one day back in the day, and the oldest girl, now she couldn't have been no more than maybe about 11 or 12 years old or whatever. I was playing this one day, you know, because we used to get together like every Saturday at the crib, as we say, you know. But I was playing that, and she came up and she said, Mr. Thomas, is that one of them protest songs? And I said, sure is. Sure, you're right, because that's how we rock. That's what we do. We about that, and we've been about that. Rajon, what's going on? I didn't mean to tag you, bro. Sorry about that. Okay, all righty. But yeah, that first one, This Is My Country, you know. The opening lines in that song says, some people think we don't have the right to say it's my country. Before they give in, they'd rather fuss and fight than say it's my country. That's what we see every Sunday down on that battery. Every Sunday down on that battery with them Confederate flaggers. That's what we see with them disrespectful fools who feel like they are privileged enough to come on other people's pages and carry on and make their nasty comments based on their opinion of other people. I had one violate my page today. It was really funny because they very rarely come and do it. Because I'm going to give them love back. I'm going to give them common sense, but I'm going to give them love back. And he wrote on there, I forget what that dude's name is. I'll post it up later. Matter of fact, I'll do a screenshot. Y'all can send him a message or something. I don't care. But he posted up on there. He said, you know, go on, say it, you know, with exclamation points. Go on, say it. You're a Marxist. And I looked, I'm like, all right. I said, well, I responded back. I said, go on, say it. You're a troll. And then I put up under it, I said, you know, I would never disrespect your page because I respect you enough. I would never disrespect you by coming on your page trying to spout off my own personal beliefs or make you, you know, that's your personal space. And I don't feel that privilege that I would come to your space like that. Okay. I got to let the dog out. Y'all don't know. He be in on the lives too. He learning about the revolution too. But yeah, I told him, I would never come to your page and disrespect it like that, you know. And I don't understand people who do that. I just chalked it up. I told him, I said, man, maybe it's just the way you was raised. I don't know, to disrespect people. I don't know, you know. And then I said, oh, by the way, you said, you know, what am I? I'm a black American who believes in our Constitution and supports it, except for the 13th Amendment, who says what I want to because this is my country. Period. This is my country. It's not their country. Okay? And when we got a president that talks about making America great again, he's not talking about doing anything for everybody in this country. It's definitely a targeted remark for the people who he supports and the people who support him, which just so happen to be white supremacists, bigots, racists, the ultra rich who have not found out that it's better to give than to receive, and that whole crowd, straight up, you know. So you're talking about Ben Shapiro. Wow. Good to see you, Nick. Alrighty. Some more folks on here. I appreciate that, Rajan. Michael, what's going on? All right, Nick in the house. Teresa, what's happening? All righty. Yes. Yes, we gonna rock and roll right now. Okay, I know there's probably some people who are looking for this at 8:30, but 8 o'clock it's a go because the Democratic National Convention tonight is the first night, and I want to make sure that I'm fairly well excited about it, and I hope other people are getting excited about it because it's about time for us to get excited about the change that's necessary. And if we are not excited about it, if we go into this election season with this lackadaisical, apathetic attitude, we're going to come out of this in bondage. And when I say in bondage, I don't just mean black folk. I mean all folk. Because this dude is in the White House, his agenda, and the people who support him, that agenda is not for us. It's not for the good of the people. Megan, how you doing? Jean, good evening. Good evening. Thank you. It's not for the good of the general people. And we can see it in exactly what's happened over the last 3.5 years. Yes, there's been a sporadic bright spot. A bright spot here and a bright spot here. But it's like the apple, okay? It's like the apple. They say that, you know the tree by the fruit on it, okay? But you take an apple, okay? And if you got an apple, a Granny Smith, that's the green one, I think, right? And it's got like a little small brown spot on it. That might not be that bad, okay? You cut that little brown spot off and keep on eating. Good apple. But if you got a Granny Smith apple that's supposed to be green, and the whole apple is predominantly brown and soft, is a bad apple. That's the Donald Trump 3.5 years that we've had. A bad apple. It's no way you can dig. As a matter of fact, in the core of that apple is a worm, a big one. And so it's time for us to prune that tree. It's time for us to cut that fruit off of the tree that we call the United States of America, so that we can begin to have some fresh fruit, some good fruit growing on this tree, some fruit that will give us seed to bear more good fruit for everyone. And everyone will be able to partake of this good fruit, not the way that this dude is doing what he's doing. And I'm going to talk more about that tonight. I'm going to try to make this as brief as possible. I see it's 8:15 now. So that way we have time enough to get some popcorn. And Rajan, I'm going to get me a Pepsi for sure. William Hamilton, good to see you, my brother. Yeah. It's good to see you still out there, man. You are really an impressive force. And I appreciate you so much, William, for sure. Best friends of Low Country Transit in the house, y'all. Y'all look up his Facebook page and follow him. And please, when he has these events going on, promoting transit, public transit, okay, he's fighting for us to have not a decent, but an excellent public transit system that will run Somerville, downtown, and other parts, okay, available for everybody. Yeah, throw the whole fruit away, right, JD, for sure. Erica, what's going on? Maddie, hey, what's going on, JD, Jeanette? Yeah, he's fighting for public transit, and we need to definitely be supporting his movement as much as possible. Amy, good to see you also. All righty. Yeah, we need to make sure that we're supporting this movement. Yeah, definitely Pepsi. I can rock with it for sure. But yeah, I'm going to get me some popcorn, that's for sure, because it's going to be a good night. I'm going to talk about it in a minute, though. So, like always, let me do a brief COVID-19 update. Okay, I don't want anybody to be deceived on this COVID. I feel an obligation to continue to tell folks that we need to be still frequently washing our hands, go out only when necessary, okay, limit our travels outside. At any time that we go outside, we need to make sure around other people, we need to have a mask on and be socially distanced, okay? Please follow the steps that have been outlined out here. Okay, it's for your own safety. It's for the safety of my wife. I don't know if y'all saw my Facebook profile picture. That's a picture of her, in what she does in her occupation with the full gear on. Okay, with the full gear on, so she doesn't come home and contaminate anybody else. And when she comes home, she has a ritual that she has to follow in order to make sure that she doesn't contaminate everybody in the house. She removes her clothing in our garage and bags it for wash, and then immediately showers in order to make sure that she's not dragging COVID around in the house and contaminating anybody else. This thing is real. This thing is real. This thing is so real that worldwide it's killed 776,000 people. That's 750,000 people dead, and the deaths attributed to COVID-19, the coronavirus, okay? Well, the new coronavirus, because coronavirus that's what the common cold is a coronavirus. But this is a new one. This that bomb diggity, okay? And that bomb diggity done killed worldwide 750,000 people. In the United States, the first death was 192 days, just under 200 days ago. 6.5 months ago was the first death. February 6th. Since that time, we just today went over 170,300 deaths in the United States. In 6.5 months, 170,300 dead in the United States due to coronavirus. Preventable, yes. Had some of them, at least, had this administration done something. I see that doctor, that the new doctor that Trump tried to replace Dr. Fauci with, Birx, I think her name is. I saw her today come out and said, that she wished that this administration would have followed Italy's lead when they literally locked down their country. I started doing this on COVID right at when Italy was blowing up with the deaths. Right at that time, March the 12th was when I saw a letter from an American citizen living in Italy who wrote the letter back saying, "Man, it's bad, y'all, and get ready because it's coming to America." And we didn't listen. I started reporting. That was March the 12th. I started talking about this on March the 14th, and I know I've had every bit of 3 or 4 of these lives per week since then addressing COVID-19, for sure. But that was from February 6th was the first death attributed to COVID in the United States of this year, 6.5 months later. And now here we are on August 17th, 170,300 plus dead. You know how many grieving relatives those are? I've never seen so many social media posts about death in my life. People dying. I get a call, 2 and 3 calls a day about people. Folks just, so-and-so died. So-and-so died. So-and-so died. I'm like, man, Lord, I'm not saying that it's all COVID, but Lord, it's depressing. It's depressing, for sure. Especially because this could have been alleviated. There could have been steps taken ahead of time had this administration taken it seriously and wouldn't have been calling it a hoax and the Democrats trying to steal the election and all this other foolishness, And that's what happens. But I guess, we got 170,000 dead. And what did the president say it was? He said, it is what it is. It is 170,000 dead. And the president said, it is what it is. Shrugged his shoulders. It is what it is. Please. If anything I say over tonight, and then the part 2 of this is going to be on Wednesday, touches you as far as dealing with the Democratic Party, because that's the only way we're going to win this election. We have no third party that's capable of doing anything to win this election. These pop-up candidates and whatever who are coming in, they're not going to win, so they need to get behind the one candidate that we know can beat Donald Trump. And don't be deceived by that fool, Kanye, okay? For sure. Somebody, let him take his birthday party on, and really, we need to stop buying his music. It's good music. I like it. I like a lot. I did like his social commentary, but his actions now tell me his social commentary might just be a little bit hypocritical. Tell the truth, Kanye. Be straight, Kanye, for sure. Captain Searson, what's going on? Good to see you. All right, good to see you. Chiffon, what's going on? My brother Grinder Montimo, what's happening, brother? How's it going? I hope you're doing well. Shamiki, what's going on? I won't call you Shakim or nothing like that, okay? Miss Miki, all right. In the house. Yes. So, That's on the national level. 170,000, over 170,000 dead in 6.5 months. Here in South Carolina, our first death was on March 16th. Like I said, I started talking about this on March 14th, 2 days before our first death in South Carolina. That was 154 days ago, 5 months ago. Since then, as of today, we've had 2,185 deaths. And we really had a slow start, so it was kind of deceptive. So we got a little comfortable. And then we got this governor that just, follows behind the dude in the White House, and for whatever. And it's cost lives. It's cost lives. But we got a major problem going on right now. Like I said, today, as of today, in 154 days in South Carolina, we've had 2,185 deaths. The major problem is this. The first death being in March 16th, on March 16th. So from March 16th to June 30th, okay, that was 106 days. And I just used June 30th because it was the end of a month, okay? From March 16th to June 30th, that was 106 days. During that 106 days, we had 735 deaths, okay? 735 deaths in South Carolina in 106 days, okay? That's approximately 7 deaths per day from March 16th to June 30th. Now, I want you to pay close attention. From July 1st, the day after June 30th, from July 1st until today, August 17th, that's 48 days. In these 48 days, we had 1,450 deaths. Huh? From March the 16th to June 30th, in 106 days, we had 735 deaths. But in the last 48 days, from July 1st to August 17th, we had 1,450 deaths. What? We went from having, during those first 106 days, 7 deaths per day to over the last 48 days, it's gone up to approximately 30 deaths per day. And it's rising. And you got folks talking about it's going down, it's getting better. I saw one of the folks from the Battery down there with the Confederate flag or whatever saying, yes, the death toll is going down. I don't know what that fool is reading. These numbers come from the CDC. My numbers are correct. Fact check them. Fact check them. Check the facts and see if I'm wrong. These numbers are increasing. We went from 735 deaths in the first 106 days to 1,400, almost 1,500 deaths in the last 48 days. And they talking about it's going down? They crazy as heck. At this rate, in another 106-day period, let's just say we had that first 106-day period that I used, right? From March 16th to June 30th. Another 106-day period would be from July 1st until October the 14th. If this keeps happening the way it is going right now, by the time we hit the next 106-day mark on October the 14th, we'll have had 3,225 deaths in South Carolina. 3,225 deaths. Whereas in the first 106 days, we had 735. We went from 735. We will have gone from 735 in 106 days to 3,225 in 106 days. And they say it's going down, huh? Right. Be careful. Watch out for the deceivers. Watch out for those who have a hidden agenda, who have another purpose, who really don't care about your life, my life, our children's lives, or anything. Talking about opening this and opening that. Watch out for them. Be careful. And don't believe the hype. If you watch the media presentations over there, they're steadily talking about these cases. Well, the cases are dropping. The cases are dropping. That's an easy fix. If you test less, then the cases got to drop, right? If I tested 100 people yesterday and 50 came back positive, and then today I tested 50 and 25 of those came back positive, the numbers would drop, right? Oh, yesterday we had 50 positive. Today we had 25. The number dropped, right? But it's because I tested less people. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're even giving us false counts on the deaths. The deaths are higher. The professionals, the epidemiologists, nationally, all believe that the numbers that we see right now are higher, much higher than what's been reported in the United States. But because of these agendas, right, we got to open back up. People crying and carrying on because, and I get it. I know people are hurting and everything. But Dr. Birx, right, Trump's girl, she came out there today and said, if we would have shut this thing down in America the way that they shut it down in Italy, they shut it down. You couldn't go out of your house. If you didn't have special papers to be out on the streets, you could not be out on the streets. You go out on the streets if you want. They wouldn't see you anymore until they let you out of quarantine. They would take you and lock you up until you were cleared from quarantine. That's how Italy did it. They shut it down, and because of that, they did what? You hear that word? They mitigated the possibility of the spread of COVID. But here, we say, open it up. Open up everything. Go to the beach, have a party, have a rave, just hey, oh. Yeah, until you wind up flat on your back. All these fools talking about my freedom, my freedom. I don't want to wear no mask, my freedom, my freedom. You know how much freedom you got in a casket? And yes, there's a high percentage of people who survive. There's a high percentage of people who have been asymptomatic in this, many of which actually are transmitting this virus, even without symptoms. But that's just a roll of the dice. That's all that is, a roll of the dice. Mess around and crap out. Your freedom will be confined to a casket. You'll be over there at Murray's and Dickinson's and them stirs. And your family be sitting there crying, talking about, I wish she would have listened. I wish she would have wore a mask. Why she been playing around, And even with coronavirus, it really ain't no guarantee even if you go through it. This thing is strange, but it is what it is. It is what it is. So please be careful, folks. That's my encouragement to everyone. Be careful. Know that this government, the way it stands right now, does not have your best interest or my best interest, our children's best interest on their behalf. They don't care. Michael Jackson, all I want to say is that they don't really care about us. They don't. And so, and they're using their resources right now in order to, and they're really showing their hands. And that's why it's so important for us now to understand the election season that we're in. There's never been an election season as important as this one right now. And I don't, and definitely not in my lifetime. And I'm old, okay, or at least getting there. But there's never been a more important time to galvanize ourselves together and to march on ballots for change in the United States. Because if we let it continue going the way it is right now, nothing good is going to come out of this. Nothing good has really come out of this so far. Man, our international respect is gone. People are hurting out here in the streets. This fool and allowed a pandemic to not only invade our borders, but to do what it wants to. The epidemiologists, right? They said that had Trump heeded the initial warnings, right? 7 months ago, 8 months, 8 months ago, the initial warnings, and just did the simple thing of mandating masks, or even in our states, okay, Henry, I know you Foghorn, Langhorn, I know you might listen to my broadcast every now and then, but somebody need to tell him, if he would have, instead of following behind that president, required masks of everybody back in March, our death toll would probably be now about 12% of what it is. 12% nationally and 12% in South Carolina of what it is right now. Wow. That, instead of 1,700 in South Carolina, we're looking at what, like about maybe 170, 200 deaths instead of these big numbers nationally. Oh, excuse me. Instead of nearly 2,200 in South Carolina, we'd have been looking more like 250. Nationally, instead of 170,000, we'd have been looking at maybe 17 to 20,000 dead. If they just would have said, you're going to wear masks. You will not be allowed in public without a mask on. That's right, Cherry. Blood on their hands. Blood stay on their hands, for sure. Blood stays on their hands because, I've never made it a thing about me. And I wished I could say different about this party system. But when I look at the Republicans, I can't rock with them. When I talk about them and what they are doing right now, and from the president on down, these are not Democrats that are doing this. These are not Democrats that turn their heads to the science and said, no, that this is some kind of a plot that we're perpetrating against the president to make him look bad. They didn't do that. No, the Republicans did. And they have consistently had this attitude. Consistently. So part of tonight, I did say I was going to talk about why I rock with the Dems, and you'll never hear me talking about I'm rolling with the Republicans. Now, for those who want to talk this history and all of this blah, 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 like my man from 8 Mile said, bunny rabbit, that hibbly blibbly blibbly blah. I don't want to blah blah. I don't want to hear all of that, okay? I'm talking about the Republican Party now, period. I don't care what the Democrats did in the past and who they were. I'm talking right now about the Republican Party, and that I know and that I have known for decades. Okay, right now, right now. Trash. You see what they're doing? How they playing with the stimulus money while people out here hurting? Well, we have to have operations like the Community Resource Center that are giving out free food and carrying on, or else people be starving out here. People who lost their jobs through this whole thing, and instead of them okaying a second stimulus package that would at least give those drawing unemployment that same $600 package, they're really not worthy of that. That's no incentive to go back to work. Well, going back to work in a pandemic is not really smart. If you look at the schools, all these the colleges, UNC Chapel Hill, man, they just put the whole school on lockdown. They just went back to school. I think they said like 50% of their student body tested positive. So they went on back to totally virtual. And it's happening at all these schools. Charleston County, get ready. Colleton County, get ready. Everywhere where they're opening back up to tell these kids, some of y'all can come in. We got these little plexiglass things and whatever. Yeah, okay. Look, COVID don't give a darn about no plexiglass. It's a killer. And there's no contingency plan in place when teachers get sick, because we don't have a large gene pool of substitutes. And then you got a teacher that gets sick and dies. What makes you think that a substitute that ain't getting paid really no kind of money is going to go in to relieve them? You putting a big test on somebody's gifts and talents. Oh, I just love the students that much and carrying on. This, man, we need to have some lawsuits out here. Start filing them. From my mouth to yours. Start filing some lawsuits. You lose a loved one, file a lawsuit. Sue him. Sue Governor McMaster. Take his pension, take his bank account, take his house, his children's college money. I don't care. You can say that's cruel, and why is the pastor saying that? I'm saying it because it's true. They got no business doing this to people, period. But that's what the Republican Party does. It's all about them. It's all about them. It's like them Confederate battle flaggers down there. No matter what we try to say about the aspect of the Civil War and the Confederacy, that the backbone, the spine of it was on slavery, was contingent on slavery. No matter how much you try to tell them that that battle flag there is a symbol of hatred, they're going to tell you, no, it's not. No, it's not. Because we know what's better for you. And that's how the Republicans run. For real, for real. Who fights against universal health care for everybody? Healthcare. So no matter who gets sick, they get the same quality of care, whether they got money or not. And it's proven to work in other countries. I don't care. Call me a socialist or whatever you want. I don't give a darn what you call me. I'm talking about saving lives. For all of them fools, so I know I'm probably gonna get some of them fools on here that's been following me, you know, in recent days and whatever, off the Confederate flaggers or whatever. They think they bullies, man. But I come from the project, straight up, straight up. I come from a long list of folks who ain't worried about no foolishness like that. For all of y'all jumping on, I'm sorry I haven't had a chance to say anything, but I'll pick up when I go back over this message. But who does that? Universal health care. It works in other countries. It can work here. And the only ones who have fought against that is who? The Republicans. We had Obamacare. Obamacare jumped out there, right? There were some flaws, okay? But they fought against Obamacare because it was a black man that put it forward. It was a black man. As a matter of fact, calling it Obamacare instead of the Affordable Care Act, the ACA, that was their way of, it was a dog whistle for the anti-Obama people, the racists who did not like President Obama, to talk bad about the president. Oh, it's Obamacare, Obamacare, Obamacare. And half of them, I saw it, I think it was who, Jay Leno, somebody, I forget who it was, but they went out on the street and they was asking people about Obamacare and then the ACA. And they was like, oh, we for that ACA thing for sure. Not even realizing that they dumb behinds didn't even realize that the Affordable Care Act and the Obamacare was one and the same, you know? But who does that? Who's against universal health care that is going to give everybody an equal opportunity for health care? Oh, you know who's against that? People who are for profit insurance run health care. Because they making a little buck. They got them lobbyists, okay, saying, yeah, you got to go against that universal health care, man, because it's going to cut into our profit margins for sure. So the Republicans vote against universal health care. They vote against Obamacare. And then so, in doing so, they vote against you and me, who can't necessarily have the best insurance. The same people who have the best health care in the world in Congress, they have the best care, vote against the best care for you and I. And you know who it is that's voting against it? It's not the Democrats, it's the Republicans. I told you, I'm going to tell y'all why I rock with the Dems, and I'm going to tell y'all about it. I got 20 minutes to close this thing out, and I'm going to do it, okay? Universal health care. Public education. Just public education. To have a school in your neighborhood that your child can go to that is safe and that they can get an excellent education at. Guess who don't want that? The Republicans. The Betsy DeVos people. The privatization people. Privatization, which is the new age form of Jim Crow, segregation. Because not everybody can pay for an education. And they know that, and they don't care. Black, brown, and poor kids, they don't care. They don't care. When the reality is, what I don't understand is that, why is it that we can't give children in a public school system the same quality education that children in private schools get? I saw it working in Atlanta. We visited Atlanta last year. 3 schools we went to, 3 Title I schools we went to. It worked in every one of those schools. They were doing great, even to the point where they were doing so good that the charters and the other privatized schools were forced out. They had to shut down because the people were going to the public school. because the education was so great. The kids, them kids, man, they were amazing. And if they can do it in ATL, they can do it here, for sure. But who blocks it? The Republicans do. Ain't no Democrats standing against quality public education at all. And why are the Republicans doing it? Why? Because there's money to be made in privatization. They're capitalizing on our kids. There's money to be made. Josh Bell with the Coalition for Kids, y'all stand by. That message is coming real soon, real soon. The Coalition for Kids, they're privatizing our kids. They're making money. Who, you tell me this, who invests money not to make money? I don't know anybody that invests money not to make money. And they got a conglomeration of people who got money and they invest in money. They invested $750,000 in the last election for school board in order to win 4 seats. 4 seats. You think they ain't got no return coming on their investment? Let them people vote for public education. Let them 4 vote for public education. They gonna owe the Coalition for Kids $750,000. Give me my money back. If you ain't gonna do what we put our money up to do, give us our money back. Yeah, but quality public education. The Republicans fight. You know we still at $7.25 an hour, right? The national and the state minimum wage. Okay, $7.25 an hour. A wage that might have been good in the early 2000s. Might have been able to do something with. But here in 2020, as the fight for 15 says, I can't survive over $7.25. You can't. You have to work 2 and 3 jobs in order to try to just survive. And guess who fights against living wages? Increasing the pay, the minimum wage. The Republicans do. As well as they fight against unionizing, standing up for, allowing people to stand up for their rights as workers. As well as supporting at-will firing. That means they don't need no reason to let you go. None whatsoever. You terminated. Well, I've been here 30 years. I'm almost up for my pension. And my eval's been great. Yep. Have a nice day. You fired. Well, why? Because I said so. It's an at-will state. See, that's how that works. That's how that works. I don't have time to explain right to work versus at-will, but I might at another time. And I see what Dr. King had to say about right to work states. For sure. That's why I don't understand Republicans that celebrate his birthday. They need to go to work. They don't believe in anything Dr. King stood for. They're trying their best to obliterate the dream. They've turned the dream into a nightmare. So they need to go to work on Dr. King's holiday. They don't his birthday. Living wages, they fight against that. That's why we haven't had any movement in living wages, in minimum wage, because they don't support it. They vote against it. Common sense gun legislation that just might save somebody's life. Not just in mass shootings, but in hood shootings. Common sense gun legislation that doesn't threaten anybody's Second Amendment rights, but it could result in reduced deaths due to gun violence, homicides, suicides, accidental shootings, and domestic violence related murders. Guess who blocks it? They put up legislation in South Carolina, domestic violence, to strengthen domestic violence laws. And the Republicans come in, the Democrats will put up the bills, and the Republicans come in and say, well, we want this in and we want that in, and they watered the bills down so far that they're not any good. And then we turn around being the number 1, 2, or 3 in the nation for domestic violence for over a decade, domestic violence related murders for over a decade, many of which are gun related. It's a proven fact that the presence of a gun in a domestic violence situation greatly increases the chance of a homicide happening. And who votes against and stands against common sense gun legislation? Who has fought against a hate crime bill in South Carolina even after Dylan Roof murdered 9 people in Mother Emanuel. Who has stood against that? Wasn't the Democrats? It was the Republicans. And that's why we don't have a hate crime bill now. Representative William Wendell Guillard has put that bill on the table every year. Every year for the last, I think, 4 years since Mother Emanuel. 4 terms since Mother Emanuel. And before Representative Gilliard, Representative Gilda Cobb Hunter from Orangeburg, she put it up there. And they put it down. They shot it down. Not the Democrats, the Republicans. Wonder why I ain't rocking with them. Right. They fight against against having accessible housing, and they fight against ending gentrification. They fight against prison reform. Prison reform. So, wait, let me back up. Accessible housing and gentrification. The wages thing, right? That's a part of that process, right? Make sure that people don't make enough money to afford housing so that ultimately they can't keep good housing. So they allow those neighborhoods to go down so that they can buy up the property and the homes very cheap, redevelop them, and sell them high or rent them out high so the people that were in them cannot afford to stay in them because they're stuck in minimum wage jobs. Oh yeah, that's the blueprint. That's the blueprint. They fight against giving people housing, accessible housing, and ending gentrification. They fight against prison reform, real sound prison reform, where those who come into the prison system come out able to stand. They fight against that. They're into for-profit prisons. In other words, people go into prison so that they can make money for the system, so people can profit. Basically, the work that those that are on the inside, the inmates do, it profits the system, just like in slavery. That's why when I was in prison, I made a decision, a conscious decision. I was never going to be a person's slave again. Never. I was never going to go back to the prison system. And it's protected by the 13th Amendment of the Constitution. Yep. The only way that you can be legally declared a slave in the United States is by being convicted of a felony. Yep. Legal slavery. And guess who's in favor of it? The Republicans, not the Democrats. Man, they fight against making it easier for people to exercise their right to vote. You see what's going on right now with this president and postal system. And that ain't new. Man, 1965 Voting Rights Act, after Selma, after John Lewis. We still ain't had equal access to voting since then. We never have had equal access to voting since then. Why? Because the Republicans in this dispensation of time, it's the Republican Party and voter suppression that's keeping us from the ballots. And we making this crazy decision because we are our own enemy at times that I'm not going to vote because my vote doesn't matter. Man, the slave mentality is alive and well and living today in America. For anybody that thinks that way, you're a slave and don't know it. So they fight against it, making it easier for people to exercise their right to vote. And they fight against preserving our environment. They fight against investing in green technology. We shouldn't be having problems about internet access or Wi-Fi right now. We've had the technology, we just haven't implemented it. Everywhere should have access. Our children shouldn't be having these problems right now as far as virtual learning, connecting to Wi-Fi, anywhere. Anywhere. Not even to mention the fact that our infrastructure is outdated. It sucks. Let me just put it that way. It sucks. Especially in South Carolina. Especially when you look at roads in South Carolina. You can literally tell when you leave North Carolina and come into South Carolina. You can literally tell when you leave from Georgia and come into South Carolina, and not by looking at nobody's sign. All you have to look at, just hold your wheel and you start going like this. Oh, I'm in South Carolina now. Blibbity-blee, blibbity-blah. For sure. Big old holes in the road. for sure. Tear your car up in South Carolina. Because there's been no investment in infrastructure. And guess who's headed? In South Carolina, for the last 20 years, the Republican Party has had control of the South Carolina General Assembly, both the House and the Senate. So we can't get anything passed there because the Republicans block everything. So who am I putting the responsibility for all of this on? On the Republican Party. And it's been that bad also in Congress. We just had some inroads in 2018 in Congress in Washington, D.C. Yep. So they fight against preserving our environment. They fight against investing in green technology. They fight against ending homelessness. They won't invest in that. They fight against caring for our veterans. They fight against making life better for Americans as Americans get into reaching into their golden years, our seniors. Man, they take the money. Every time they're looking for a place to drag money from, they take it from the senior citizens and from the veterans. The Republicans do that, not the Democrats. That's crazy. And check this out. They fight against believing that the Black Lives Matter movement is actually and factually rooted in the long-standing abuse of black men by the police. They fight against that. You tell the Republicans Black Lives Matter, the first thing they're going to say is, I know every one of y'all in your mind said it, or even verbally said, all lives matter. That's the first thing they're going to say. That is the first thing they're going to say. As soon as you say Black Lives Matter. Because they don't get it and they don't want to get it. Because if they get it, that means they have to admit some culpability somewhere in the past. Great granddaddy or somebody, had some shortcomings when it came to black folks. Sort of the Strom Thurmond thing, right? You died 100 and some odd years old, and after you die, several months after you die, the world finds out that you had a black daughter, All right, somebody. All right, somebody. It's crazy. The Republicans I'm talking about, not the Democrats. The Democrats are working the other side of that, okay? They believe the ideology is the other side of everything I'm saying about the Republicans. The Republicans, check this out. The Republicans fight against women's rights. They fight against LGBTQ rights. They fight against Muslim rights. They fight against Latino rights. They fight against poor people's rights and the rights of all Americans to the guarantees of our founding fathers of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The Republican Party fights against all of that except for themselves and their people. They're a single ethnicity party. And everybody else be darned. They the one came up that concept, trickle-down economics. Man, there's never any trickle-down. If the money starts at the top, the money stays at the top. It never trickles down to the little people. And that's why we have so many problems with strengthening the economy. And that's why it was turning around under Obama, right? Until this fool got in office, okay, who was reaping the benefits of the seeds that were planted in the Obama administration, the 8 years under Obama. He's reaping the benefits. That's why the economy has been the way it has been because of the seeds that Obama planted, okay? But the planting was at the bottom. The investment was at the bottom. That's why increasing the minimum wage, it only strengthens the economy. When you give people who spend the most money, the people who make the least amount of money spend the most money. You take what they have and double that, they're going to spend that. And where they're going to spend that? They're going to spend that at our stores, at our mom and pop places and everywhere. Investing into the economy so that the economy is built up from the bottom up. Because from the top down, the money stays there. When they say trickle down, it trickles for sure. By the time you get to the little guy, you got crumbs. You got crumbs left. And that's it. Crumbs. And I'm going to say this, and it's not going to be popular, but everybody who supports the Republicans who support the Republicans, you ain't doing nothing but enabling all this stuff I just talked about. So you ain't no better. They ain't no better. They're enablers. Okay? I'm a Republican, but I know they got, I don't really like Trump, but I'm going to support him or whatever. You're an enabler. You're just as bad. Your hand's just as bloody. If you went to that ballot and you pulled red, you're just as bloody. Sandy saying, I love you, but I'm not going along with that. Oh, I'm this moderate liberal type. No, I know who you voted for. I know who you voted for. And anytime you vote for hatred and racism and white supremacy, you ain't no better than who you voted for. Bottom line, that's for sure. Yep, that's for sure. Now, that's my rant about the Republicans. And about the Democrats, I'm going to say this, I'm going to get into it again probably on Wednesday and coming up, that we ain't no better either as a party if in all of those issues that I just talked about, when you got people out on these lines fighting for health care and for living wages and to improve the prison situations and how people exit the system and gun legislation and everything, and all you do is you show up for a meeting with the Democrats or you go vote and you don't never come to join them out there to change things, you don't never show up for nothing, you part of the problem. Not as bad as being a Republican voting Republican, but you're just as bad, though. Because it seems that if it really mattered to you, if Black lives really matter to you, then you take a minute, if you are physically capable and had the time to at least come stand out on the front line when we're talking about Black Lives Matter, when we're fighting for 15, when we're trying to get a union started, when we're trying to make sure that their folks have universal health care or accessible housing or out here feeding the homeless. Seems like you might show up then, Mr. and Mrs. Democrats out there. Okay? It's tight, but it's right. So, 2 minutes to 9. In closing, and I thank you all so much for spending this time with me tonight. And I'm still going to suggest that everybody tune in tonight to the Democratic National Convention coverage. Okay, I don't know. I think like it's not the red carpet or anything because everything is virtual. But I think the festivities kind of starting real soon, like 9 o'clock or maybe 10, something like that. Okay, but I think at 9. But just the speakers. Okay, wow. Don't miss this tonight. And especially if you've heard anything that has made you might want to even consider being more strongly involved and engaged with the Democratic Party in this season where we have got to remove the Republicans starting from the top in D.C. in the White House all the way down to the Republicans that are running our school board. Okay, remove them from office. Okay, because they're tainted. But the speakers tonight, the featured speaker, as far as I'm concerned tonight, is going to be our former First Lady, Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama is speaking tonight. Y'all remember Michelle Obama, right? Extremely gifted black woman, black girl magic, right? When they go low, we go high, right? That Michelle Obama. But she's giving the speech tonight, 9 o'clock on many outlets. Thanks, Sue. I appreciate you. When they go low, we go high. But tonight, though, okay, you remember she even went in on Trump, right, about attacking her family. You know, where Mr. Obama had to play the political game. Oh, yeah, Michelle was like, nuh-uh. You done made this mama mad. Erica, you there? Y'all done made this mama mad. And she went in about her family, about him talking about her family. You know, about them, the Republican Party, actually, trying to intimidate her and her family, for sure. And I loved every minute. Well, she's speaking tonight. And just check this out. She doesn't have to be politically correct in this conversation tonight. Barack is not the president anymore. He's not running for office anymore. Neither him nor her. They just citizens out here. Michelle gonna say what she want to say tonight. So I would advise, please tune in. Senator Bernie Sanders is speaking tonight. And I don't know about y'all, but I know Bernie. And he got that fire. He gonna bring that smoke. So they got some smoke bringers tonight, for sure. Our South Carolina Congressman, Jim Clyburn, is speaking tonight from the 6th Congressional District here in South Carolina. He's going to be speaking tonight. Amy Klobuchar, she was one of the candidates who was in the race prior to Joe Biden's ultimate win as the preemptive candidate for president. Oh, here's another one. Another New York Governor Andrew Cuomo is speaking tonight. Y'all know him. He the one that been going in on Trump about this coronavirus because of what happened in New York with this coronavirus. He ain't scared. He ain't scared. This gonna be a good night tonight, for sure. And they even got former Ohio governor and lifelong Republican speaking tonight, John Kasich. John Kasich is speaking. John Kasich is a Republican and the former governor of Ohio. He's speaking against Trump and for Joe Biden. And the reality is he's not speaking against Trump and for Joe Biden. He's speaking against Trump and for a greater America, a real America, America that America is supposed to be. That's what he's speaking for. But he's a Republican. And there are 3 more elected Republicans, women, who are going to speak tonight too. Yeah, y'all got to tune in. Tune in. I'm going to tune in. Rajan, I'm going to get me a Pepsi. I'm going to pop me some popcorn. And I'm going to sit back. And I know I probably got a couple of text messages to answer, but I'm going to enjoy this evening, okay? And this is the first night. That speaker lineup is tonight, okay? Tomorrow night, I know that our state senator Marlon Kimpson is part of a young group of young and rising group of elected officials that are going to be spotlighted tomorrow. And of course, all of this is virtual. All of it's virtual. So you're not going to have all of the hoopla as usual, but still in all, I think it's going to be extremely interesting. So tomorrow night, same time, 9 till 11, I believe it is. And then Wednesday again from 9 to 11, where I think on Wednesday night is when they will ultimately pick Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, Black Girl Magic, as our next president and vice president of the great nation of the United States of America, Wednesday night. And Wednesday night, I'm also going to come back again for part 2 of this live. Okay, today was about just, letting you know about Republicans versus Democrats, why I rock with the Dems. That's not hard to understand why I rock with the Dems. And if you agree, then rock with the Dems, okay? Right? You ain't got to give nobody explanation. Them Republicans or whatever, let them talk all that trash or whatever. Don't give them your energy. Just let them do what they're doing, okay? They want to wave that red rag. Go ahead on, do that. I'm rocking with the Dems until we vote them folks out, them Republicans out, for sure. But on Wednesday will be the night that I talk about those that are running for office this year. And the election will be on November 3rd, 2020. A large portion of those from the White House to Congress to our state legislature, some races, and also locally with Charleston County. Okay, the school board, Charleston County Council. I'll be talking about them too. So all of that's going to be Wednesday at 8 o'clock p.m. Y'all please tune in. And remember, some people think that we don't have the right to say this is my country. We paid 300 years or more, slave driving, sweating, welts on our back. This is my country. And we're going to hold it on them this year because this is our country. And we're going to take this country back from those who seek to destroy it and cause division. We are going to make America, America again, because that's what it has to do. And actually, we're going to make America what America has never been. And that's a place with liberty and justice for all. So until Wednesday, 8 o'clock p.m. once again, I hope to get a chance to see you all again then. Watch tonight. Great speakers. I definitely don't want to miss Michelle Obama, so I'm getting out of here. Go get my popcorn popped up and my Pepsi and some red Kool-Aid. And listen, tonight, hug your kids. Tell them you love them, please. If you can, call up somebody after you watch the DNC convention. Or even at the commercial or whatever. Call up somebody and just tell them you love them. Just those 3, I love you. Just those 3 words. And they say, well, why? What's up? Oh, because I love you. That's all. And then hang up on them, And if you don't get it done tonight, do it tomorrow. Okay? Please. If we start to shed love and share love, man, We never know where that'll end. Right now, there's enough hatred going on in this world, enough hatred. I see it every day. I see it in good people who just have hatred in their hearts because they don't really understand other people and they don't want to understand people. So because of that, they're angry and they hate people. We don't have to live like that. They don't have to live like that. For that troll that came on my page, if he ever wants to talk, we can talk. I'd welcome a conversation. I'll even buy. We can sit down over coffee, tea, or a root beer float. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. And at the end of it, if he doesn't agree with what I have to say, we can still part friends. That's for sure. And any Republican, I'll sit down with Donald Trump. And in the end, we will part friends. I ain't going to go support him. We ain't rolling like that. I ain't that stupid, okay? I'm not a Kanye, for sure. I ain't impressed by money, So it is what it is. But still in all, though, love does cover a multitude of discretions that we have, and love is the one agent that will change everything, not only in our nation, but in our world. And because of that, I want you all to just understand, I love every one of you, each and every one of you, you and you and you back there in the cheap seat, you. I love you too. I love each one of you all, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful evening. God bless. Peace.